One day, a writer decided to achieve something great. He wanted to write a story that would explain the meaning of life. He lived in a small town in the east, but he dreamed of traveling far to the west. He knew it would be a challenge, but he believed it was his advantage to have such a dream. He started his day early, as the sun rose in the east. He sat on his chair and looked at the chart he had made to plan his journey. The cost of the trip was high, but he was determined. He packed his bag, making sure to carry only the essentials. He wore a bright red skirt and a belt to keep his pants in place. He also packed a bowl, a brush, and a blank notebook to write down his thoughts. As he walked through the town, he noticed a sheep grazing quietly in a field. The quiet of the morning was quite peaceful. He passed by a theater where an advertisement for a new play was being displayed. The advertising was eye-catching, and he made a mental note to attend the show if he returned. He continued his journey, walking through the forest. The ancient trees seemed to appear out of nowhere, and he felt a sense of awe. He stopped to arrange his belongings and noticed a bone on the ground. It reminded him of the certain fact that life is fragile. He thought about the century he lived in and how much the world had changed. As he walked, he began to argue with himself about the subject of his story. Should it be about ancient civilizations or modern athletes? He decided to avoid making a decision right away and continued walking. He soon came across a camp where a group of people were camping. They invited him to join them, and he gladly accepted. They sat around a fire, and one of them began to explain the rules of a game they were about to play. The average age of the group was young, and they were full of energy. They played a match of cards, and the writer won an award for his quick thinking. He felt a sense of belonging among them. As the night grew darker, the bright stars appeared in the sky. The writer felt a sense of quiet and peace. He thought about the statement he wanted to make with his story. He wanted it to be meaningful and awesome, something that would interest readers for generations. The next morning, he woke up early and decided to swim in a nearby lake. The water was cold, but it refreshed him. He heard the sound of birds chirping and felt a sense of joy. He knew he was on the right path. As he continued his journey, he thought about the benefit of his adventure. He had learned so much about himself and the world around him. He knew that his story would grow into something beautiful. Finally, he reached the west, where the sun was setting. He felt a sense of accomplishment. He had achieved his goal and was ready to share his story with the world. He knew that his journey was just the beginning, and he was excited for what the future would bring.